Melodic grooves and textured harmonies is the heartbeat of the soul. Lyrically, emotionally, and powerful is what we love. It's Indie Soul Saturday, only on Source Radio Network.
What's good, Source Nation? Welcome to yet another show-stopping production of Indie Soul Saturdays. I'm your host, James Johnson, and I'm excited to be here in the studios with you today, and I'm glad that everybody is tuned in as we have a blazing show in store for you today. First hour, we're bringing you a hot conversation with gospel sensation Whitney Curry. She's definitely doing her thing out here, and she's doing an amazing job with pushing and promoting her brand of music, and we're thrilled to bring her to you today. Definitely going to be, as I said, an amazing show today. You know, definitely a good time. And like I said, we are thrilled that you are here to join us today. If you're close to a phone, just like always, we definitely want you to call in and we want you to talk to the artist today. We definitely always want to make them feel welcome. We want you to hear your voice. We want to hear your voice. And we just want to make it an amazing time here on the show today. Definitely want that conversation going back and forth. So by all means, again, if you are close to a phone, make it a point to call in and talk to us today. That phone number is 619-924-0933. Again, that is 619-924-0933. Today is definitely going to be a chance to be heard, and like I said, we want to hear from you. Now, I also want to take a moment to shout out our sponsors here. There are so many people who are involved in our everyday hustle, our day-to-day flow, and without them, a lot of what we are doing would not be possible. We definitely would be behind in the times, as a lot of people say. So we are so grateful, immensely grateful, for the people who are involved, again, in our everyday hustle. Those organizations and those people include Paper to Film Productions, Revolutionary Meals, Scott Cares Foundation, Urban Grandstand Digital, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend News Bar, Grand Innovation, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. So again, we definitely want to shout them all out. Say thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. We are, again, immensely grateful. We definitely want you guys to stay tuned. We are just going to take a quick little break here. We're going to play a little bit of music right here on Soul Saturday.
Source Nation, you're listening to Indie Soul Saturday.
Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening to Indie Soul Saturday.
Source Nation, we want to welcome you back. We are still at the top of our first hour. Definitely glad to welcome in our first guest. As I mentioned before, she's definitely been doing her thing out here and definitely really making some big power moves just in terms of being an amazing artist out here and really working to get her music out there. So I want to go ahead and introduce Miss Whitney Curry here to the Indie Soul Saturday studios. How are you today?
I'm great, James. How are you?
I'm very good. I hear the enthusiasm in your voice, so I can tell already that this is going to be a great hour here.
Oh, fantastic. I'm excited.
I'm excited, too. Number one, just because, I love music. So it's always good to introduce new artists here into the studio. I'm really big on the independent scene as far as just, artists and musicians really working independently to get their music
Wonderful.
out there and really change the world. And I think that what you're doing is amazing. So, all of that
Thank
coupled
you.
together with probably a million other things, I think it's great to have you here on the show. And I love to talk, as you probably will notice throughout this hour.
Okay.
So
wonderful.
Really
that sounds good to me.
So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and I appreciate you allowing me to be on your show.
Most definitely. So kind of talk to me really just starting off, how has everything been going? Because there's a lot of buzz surrounding you, obviously on the gospel scene. And I think that that's an amazing thing as an independent artist, because gospel is good music, but nobody, it's not that nobody loves it, but I just don't think that it really gets the shine that it needs a lot of times. And there's a lot of obviously motivational and inspirational things that are, really being put out there. And for as much as you would think that people really want to hear that type of thing, it just doesn't get pushed as much as I think that it should. But
yeah,
you're getting pushed.
I appreciate that. And I think that, what it really is that people only listen to what they're exposed to, right? And so a lot of people tune in and listen to the mainstream radio. And so whatever is played on the few channels that they have at their exposure, that's what they tend to listen to. And so only a couple of songs probably get put into rotation. And so as independent artists, we have a tough job to do, and that's to really work really hard at getting our music exposed and put in the right hands. And so we have to work, we have to invest in ourselves. And so we have to be able to put the time in, the energy in, the work in. And that's really what I'm doing. And then with the help of God, having a good team behind you, the sky's the limit. And so I'm just excited about being here and being on your show. And I thank you for the opportunity to really be able to allow people to listen to my music today.
I totally agree with what you said. I was going to ask you, what are you doing to make everybody listen to your music? Because you're doing something like you got the industry in a chokehold or something. And I said, what's going on out here? I said, what's going on out here? It's almost like gospel gangster or something. Like she got them listening.
No. I have a phenomenal team that's behind me. I've been in the industry for a while now. I was singing with my brother Reston Jackson for a few years, singing background, and so I just learned the ropes and learned what it is that you have to do. And so working really hard with him, and then having a great team and a great record label that's behind me, a great producer, and so you just learn the right things to do and how to do it, and timing is everything as well.
I think that that's amazing. I can really appreciate the fact that obviously you do your homework and you really pay attention to your surroundings and everything that's going on around you, just in terms of the right things to do and the wrong things to do, and pretty much what you should be doing to really get yourself out there and to really build and grow your brand. And I think that you've done that very well, because, I note as well that you have been out here for some time. So I know I say new artist, but I know that you have been out here and you've been working really, really hard. So you're not necessarily a new artist, but there are still a lot of people who are just now really being introduced to your brand of music. So really kind of talk to the audience and to the listeners just in regard to who you are as an artist and, you know, the type of artist you are.
Definitely. Well, I'm definitely a worshiper at heart. I love all different types of music. I have a background in being classically trained. I went to Bowie State University, so I have a degree in fine arts. I love music. I sing all different types of music, but I'm really a worshiper at heart. And so what you will find with my music is that it's really praise and worship. And so I want people to hear that when they hear my music, and that when I sing that I will really lead people into worship, because I believe that that's where it all begins, is being able to lead people into worship.
Okay. So I was gonna.
Yes.
You say that you listen to all that you do all types of music, and I almost showed my age and asked you what was in your tape deck, and then I started thinking, don't nobody have no tape deck no more. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that old.
So I'm gonna say, who's in your iPod? Or look, they don't even do iPods anymore. Who's in your phone?
No, but I used to have an iPod, but I love Nancy Wilson. She's one of my favorites. And then definitely, of course, CeCe Winans. She's one of my inspirations as well, along that vein.
It's amazing how many people, well, first of all, it's amazing how long she's really been out there inspiring so many people, and she still looks like she's 25. And
I know. She looks exactly the
remember being in junior high school and listening to her and BB Winans with I'm Lost Without You.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Lost Without You, Addicted Love. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think back to that music, and it's hard to believe that it was so long ago, but they're still inspiring people with that kind of music. Those are the songs that I really like.
Absolutely. Well, you know that I'm from Detroit. And so the Winans were where it was at back when I was growing up. The Winans and Commission, they don't make music like that anymore.
They really don't.
Mm-mm.
They really
don't.
So you're from Detroit. Kind of talk to me about growing up in Detroit and, obviously being in music where clearly Motown comes from there. And I was just in Detroit a few weeks ago. So, and I really like it down there. But kind of talk to me about growing up in Detroit and getting into music.
Well, growing up in Detroit, like you said, Motor City, my family is all from Detroit, and my father grew up in Greater Grace Temple with the late Bishop David L. Ellis. And so our family is very musical, and we love all of the music that we listen to all came out of Detroit. And so we're very close friends with the Haddons, Dedrick Haddon, and we were just blessed to be around music all of the time. And so that's really the genesis of our family, is sitting around listening to the record player. They don't make records anymore, but my dad would put on the records, and we listened to, like I said, the Winans. We listened to the Clark sisters, because we just grew up in that. And I remember I had vivid memories of going to Perfected Praise, the church, and listening to Iona Locke and going to her ministry. And that's what I grew up around, the church, and just embodying that. And so now I'm actually the co-pastor of my late father. He passed 2 years ago, and he transitioned the ministry over to my husband and I a year before he passed. And we didn't know at the time that he was going to pass, but God knew. And so with that, we were able to really embody all of the things that he taught us, and really worship, praise, music, ministry, all of that is at the forefront of everything that I do. And so God gets the glory out of everything. And that's always what I want to do in my music and my ministry. Every time that I step foot on a pulpit, when I sing, that's what I want people, the world, to know, is that it's really about God getting the glory out of everything.
That's really amazing. Like, talk a little bit about how you balance everything. You know, obviously with everything that you do with your ministry in the church, and then, you know, coming back to doing music. Like, how do you really balance that and make it all work seamlessly?
Well, that's interesting. I have a great church family, Word of Grace Worship Center out here in Waldorf, Maryland, where my husband is the senior pastor. And here I have been afforded the opportunity to be the co-pastor, and my husband carries the vision, and then I support him in everything that he does, and then he supports me in the things that I do. And so when he's off doing ministry work, I carry the fort, and then when I'm off doing ministry work, he carries the fort. And so it kind of just balances itself out. And then we have a great staff of people, of ministers and great leaders. And so when we're both gone at different times, then they step up and they carry the fort. So God has really blessed us. And when God gives you a vision, he makes the provision, and that's really
right.
how it should work.
I think that's really, really amazing, and I think that a lot of artists could definitely learn from everything it is that you're doing, and
Amen.
Again, the way you're balancing it all.
Amen.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. So talk a little bit about, you know, obviously your music, because I know we're going to be playing, you know, a few songs or a couple of songs here
great.
on the show.
Okay.
But talk about
great.
not just the music that we're going to be playing today, but talk about, you know, your latest release and
Sure.
basically the album and what it entails, what people, you know, can look out for, and, you know, kind of the full gamut.
Okay, sounds good. Well, a couple of years ago, what ended up happening is, as I mentioned, that my father actually passed 2 years ago. And then the great Apostle Thomas Wesley Weeks Sr. was at my father's passing, or not his passing, but actually at the funeral, and he did he did his eulogy. And when he did his eulogy, my group actually sung at his eulogy, and I sung a song called the Worship Anthem that the Lord had given me. And Apostle Weeks spoke over me and my brother and said, now is the time for us to go forth, and that there was a sound that needed to be released in the atmosphere. And so something resonated with me when he spoke that into my spirit. And so I immediately got up and decided that it was the time. I hadn't been in the studio. I hadn't done anything. My group had just kind of been singing around in the area. And so my brother and I both went in the studio, and that was in May. By August, I had released my first single, Come Fill This House. And so that's going to be one of the songs that you play today, is Come Fill This House. And it's really just speaking about the Holy Spirit coming into the atmosphere and resonating with people. And from that moment on, we started working on the album. And God has really blessed the process that we've been doing, working on the entire album. And then we just released the single, Worship You, that has really just touched the masses. Worship You is amazing, and that's what has really put a buzz in the whole industry that people are talking about, because it's a crossover into not just gospel, but it has more of a CCM feel. You'll hear the guitars, you'll hear the bass, and it's a really good summer song. That it's light, it's airy, but it's really talking about, worshiping God and allowing Him to come in and feel your heart, and no matter what is going on, that you just want to give Him worship. And so it's a great release, and it's opening up the door to the rest of the album that should be coming at the end of the summer. So we're really excited about that.
Okay. Any difficulties in putting this project together, putting the album together?
No difficulties. I'll say that we've been working with the producer Brandon Broadnax and my brother Reston Jackson, and so really I don't say it's a difficulty. It's a mixture of sounds. Reston has his own sound, and Brandon has his own sound, and so it's trying to decipher how we're going to release the whole project, because when you work with a producer, they have their distinct sound. And so we've been trying to make sure that the album is consistent. But you're going to definitely hear a praise and worship tonality throughout the whole entire CD, which I think is going to be great, and people are going to love it.
Okay. So I actually want to go ahead and get into playing some of the music. So we have Worship Him, and then we have Come Fill This House, which I know that both of those songs are really making a lot of noise out there in the industry. So it's definitely good for us to be able to share it with the listening audience today. What do you want to say about Worship Him before we go ahead and play that?
Worship Him is Worship You is the newest single that was just released on June the 6th, and this is going to be something that everybody can play in their cars. It was co-written by myself and Brandon Broadnax, and I want everybody just to take a listen to it. I think that they're going to thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay. So this is Worship You by Whitney Curry right here on Indie Soul Saturdays.
Lord, I lift your name on high. I was made to magnify you. I was made to glorify you. Made to magnify you. Lord, I lift your name on high. I was made to magnify you. I was made to glorify you. Made to magnify you. I lift my hands to thee. 'Cause you deserve all the glory. You've been so good to me. So good to me. And ever since you have set me free, I'll claim the victory.
I love that. Like, what? Well, I already know the kind of response that you've been getting because the song is actually doing very well. But how did it feel? Like, kind of take me back to the moment when, you know, after you put this song together and you listened to the finished product for the first time. Like, what was the feel that you got from it?
Well, it's amazing because there's so many different versions of this song that when you know that it's like that's it, that's the final product. It was amazing.
Right.
We were so ecstatic because when you're working on something so hard and you know that God gave you something and you're just like, that's not quite it. But then finally, when you sit with it and everybody's in the room, in the studio, and you're like, oh my goodness, yes. And everybody's face is lit up. And then when the engineer is working on it and everybody's bobbing their head. And then when we did a reveal with the singers with my group Anointed, and everybody was like, yes, that's the best feeling when everybody is listening. And then we sung it at my church because we actually went out to sing at the Stellars. And so we were going through singing this song here before we sung at the Stellars, and everybody was just like, yes, and it rings in your head. And so people were asking, when is the song coming out? When is the song coming out? I want the song. I want the song. And then we went and sung at the Stellars. And then people were, when we sung it there, they were like, I love that song. When is the song coming out? And it just makes you feel good because you know that listening to the Lord and having your ear to the Lord and being able to hear the right thing, you feel great. And so from that song, we were actually nominated for the Praise Factor Award from when we sung that song down at the Stellars. So it just makes you feel good that God is opening up doors and doing great things for you.
That has to be an amazing opportunity to go out and perform at the Stellars. Like, kind of take me back to that moment. Like, how was that for you?
Oh, it's amazing. Having sung with my brother Reston Jackson, there's so many platforms that I sung with him. So he has trailblazed and done so many things and shown me the way. So I'm following in his footsteps and listening to the things that he's telling me to do. And he's putting me in contact with different people. And so through our record label, Wondrous World Records, and our entertainment company, Destiny Entertainment, we have actually been able to do a lot of things. And also, we have also collaborated with Heatwave Entertainment and Universal Records. And so we were able to do a lot of things. And so when this single came out, it was released through Universal Records and Wondrous World Records. And so they said, hey, we want you to go to the Stellar Awards. And I was like, okay, let's go. Let's do it. And so we sung. And we sung this song, and singing, it was nerve-wracking because you're not sure how people are going to like it, because, you know, when you write a song, you like it. You're in love with it.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't know if everybody else is going to like it. But as soon as people start bopping their heads, it's like, okay, I guess I was on the right track. And seeing all the cameras, the lights, walking on the red carpet, and doing all of the interviews with all of the different the radio stations and different things like that. I mean, it's so exciting, nerve-wracking. There's so many different emotions that you feel all at the same time. But it was a wonderful experience. And if everybody could get to that point, I would tell them go for it. Get to the Stellars. It was amazing.
Was that your first award show or, you know, type of thing like that, you know, with red carpet and whatnot?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it was.
I think that's
my
amazing.
first time.
Congratulations on that. Like, I think it's really amazing. And I really just, I almost compare it even to I publish a magazine as well. So it's like,
okay.
When we get the opportunities, like we've done the Soul Train Awards and the BET Awards,
okay.
and we actually did, for the Stellar Awards, we did a live stream actually just on the website a couple years back,
gotcha.
which was an amazing opportunity as well. But to go to those shows and to the red carpet, and it's such an amazing opportunity, and doing things
is.
Essence, it's just the lights and the cameras.
Yes.
And I love that type of thing. And it's good to hear an artist that actually loves it, but also is not scared to say that I really love this, because a lot of people, they try to make it seem it's not really a big thing, and I think it's huge. It's exciting.
Yeah, and the energy is just crazy. It's something that I never experienced before.
Right. Well, I think it's really, many kudos to you for everything that you're doing, because I think it's amazing, and I think that song is amazing. So it's going to continue to do well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So now, talk about Come Fill This House.
Sure. Well, Come Fill This House, it came out of, as I was saying before, just the call to action to start what God had birthed inside of me. And so being able to really listen to the Holy Spirit, it was calling on God to come and just sit with us, come and feel the atmosphere. So it's a transition into worship. When we sing, we're calling on God's presence to come and fill up the actual house, not just the residents, but wherever we are, our bodies, our minds, our spirits, wherever, Lord, come fill up this place. And so I believe that it's a call to action of worship, his Holy Spirit. And so whenever we go out and sing this song, God shows up and shows out. And so I believe that people will enjoy this song as well.
Okay, so this is Come Fill This House by Whitney Curry right here on Indie Soul Saturdays.
Our
the entire project that you plan on releasing, is it much the same as what we've heard today with these 2 songs?
I'm sorry, what did you say throughout the entire project? Is it what?
Basically, the vibe for the entire project, is it pretty much going to match what we've heard today?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's definitely amazing. I think the project is going to do very well. There's a lot of people who really love this type of music, so I think that it's definitely going to do very well for you.
Thank you so much. That's what my desire is and my hope is.
Now, what type of other things do you have planned, obviously on the promotion trail and, really just to kind of prepare things for when you do release the entire project?
Sure. Well, we're definitely preparing, and right now we're heading down south. We're going to be going to the Gospel Music Workshop in July. I think it's the last week in July. July the 26th, we'll be singing. I still sing with Reston Jackson as well. He'll be down there at the Gospel Music Workshop. We just got finished singing last week down at Bible Way. We're going to be doing a promotional trail up and down the entire East Coast, and then we're going to come back up and do a release, an album release at the end of August. So we're going to be working really, really hard to get all of the music together. We have a few songs. Reston Jackson wrote some songs. I wrote some songs. Brandon Brotnax wrote some songs on there, and so we're going to continue to put all of the album together so that we can make sure that it's completed and out and done by the end of this summer. So we're really excited about that.
I think that's definitely amazing. I think you have an amazing team behind you. So, again, I really see things doing very, very well for you.
Thank you so much.
Now, in terms of, where people, can find you at and really keep up with you, kind of talk about, your web presence, website, social media. And I've actually been on the website for your ministry and whatnot.
Sure.
I think it's a cool, but I've definitely been on there. So we'll definitely make sure that that's up, for everybody to really know, about what you and your husband have going on. But then, talk about your web presence everywhere else, though.
Thank you so much. Well, you can definitely go to my personal web address, which is Whitney Curry, whitneycurry.com. That's spelled WHITNEYCURRY.com, whitneycurry.com. And then also, of course, all the good stuff, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me on there. I'd love for people to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I like to follow people back, and I'll comment on all of your stuff if you follow me back at WHIT, WHIT_SJ. And then I'm also on Facebook, and my group has a page, Whitney Curry and Anointed. That's Whitney Curry and Anointed on Facebook. And then, of course, I really, really love if people would go and download the newest single, which is Worship You, and that's on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, any downloadable outlet. You can definitely get the single.
That's amazing. Again, we love everything it is that you're doing. We definitely want to make sure that we continue to have you here on the show as you have more things going. What type of words of encouragement, like final words of encouragement, would you like to say, as we get ready to head out?
Sure. I definitely don't mind giving final words of encouragement. Our church this morning, Word of Grace Worship Center, was out in our community in Waldorf doing a walk for the city and led with my husband, Dominique Curry, and some other pastors in the community. And what I would love to say is that we need to make a great presence in wherever area we're in, and never let your circumstances get you down. Never think that you're less than, but always realize and recognize that whatever God has put inside of you, that you are more than a conqueror. So you are the one that dictates the environment that you're in. So go out and make a presence. Let your presence be known, because you are the light of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. And so we have to make sure that whatever God has put inside of us, that it comes out. So do not be discouraged in this day and time and hour that we're in, but be encouraged, because God has given you greater. He's given you more and greater is in store for you. The best is yet to come. God bless you.
Thank you so much for those words. Thank you so much for coming here onto the show. And like I said, we definitely want to make sure that we bring you back as you have more things going on, provided you'll come and hang out with us.
Absolutely. I would love to come and hang out with you. You've been an inspiration, and you've been great as well, James. I thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And we will have this up on iTunes as well, so then you'll be able to send people actually into iTunes, into the podcast area, and they can
Wonderful.
actually download and listen to this conversation from today. So, again, I thank you so much, and we definitely will do this again.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Okay, you have a great one.
You too.
Bye-bye. And there you have it, Source Nation. We have wrapped up our first hour. That was with Whitney Curry right here on Indie Soul Saturdays. We are so grateful for you tuning in to us. Again, this is Indie Soul Saturdays. We are so thrilled that you all were tuned in to us today. Please check back. We will have these conversations up on iTunes. Until next time, we will see you later.
Get at me for beats, yo.